Hi, Liberators. This is Tiffany Coleman with another episode of Interesting People. Today, I have a guest that I'm excited about. Her name is Miss Regina Graves. She is an Emmy Award winning set decorator, and she hails from New York City. And the reason I'm having her on the show is because I want to educate folks about all the wonderful things that go on in the film and television industry. I present to some and introduce to others Miss Regina Graves. Thank you for being on the
Hi.
show today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we go to the movies, guys, and the credits begin to roll, we automatically start to walk out. I don't think we should do that anymore because the credits show all of the people who work on a film. And believe it or not, all of those are jobs and actual people do them. And Regina happens to be one of those people. She does something called set decorating. And so people who may not have heard of the term or aren't familiar with it, what exactly is a set decorator, Regina?
So a set decorator is a member of the art department. We work very closely with the production designer.
Mm-hmm.
The production designer is the person who is in charge of the overall design of what you see on the screen. That person works directly with the director to, make the director's vision interpreted on the screen.
Okay.
So I work with the production designer in the sense that I'm the person who gets the furniture, the wallpaper, anything you see as far as like soft goods, curtains, window treatments. And not only that, it's our job to create a backstory. Sometimes when you're reading a script, there is a little bit of a backstory to the character. The writer might give you little hints of, it's like when you're reading a book and they're describing a scene. This character lives in a rundown apartment, because they're middle class and they've been working hard all their lives, or, maybe they don't have time to clean or something like that. So it's our job to bring a personality of a character to the audience.
Gotcha.
So when you're looking at the screen or a character walks into the setting where they're supposed to be, there's some sort of a backstory so that so you could see or get a feeling of who this person is or what they're about.
Okay.
So we work hand in hand with the production designer to make this happen.
Okay.
And we're the person responsible, like I said, to get all the furnishings, the, soft goods, like I said, tile, hardware, anything you really see on screen other than what the actor touches, like directly touches, is up to us to get.
Gotcha. Okay. And I think that's something that people get confused too, is that set decorators and set dressers don't handle the props, right?
Yes.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Right. Meaning all the stuff, like you said, that the actors touch.
Yes. So as far as like if the actor is reading a book, that's the prop department. If they're carrying a piece of luggage, that's the prop department. Weaponry, that's the prop department. When they're eating and there's, food scenes, a lot of the times we work hand in hand with the prop department when it crosses over, as far as like the decorating and the whole look of it. But usually the prop department gets anything that the actor, touches and holds at all times.
Okay. So you guys actually do create the look and the actual world that we're in. Is that accurate? Cool beans.
Yes.
Okay. So we kind of covered what they do. Now, how does one prepare to become a set decorator? And I ask this because some of the decorators that I worked with, they could be like, oh, that's mid-century, or that's, postmodern, or how do you know all of that? Like, how do you become this person of, how do you do that?
You know what? Different set decorators that I've met all come from different backgrounds. I come from an interior design background. I went to school for interior design.
Nice.
So that's where I get my knowledge of period furniture. And I could look at something and tell you, like you said, if that's mid-century or if it's, Victorian. But some people go through, they go to art school or they go to film school, and then they learn the different periods by research, because a lot of the projects that we work on are period, or they take place, at a certain time where you have to do the research because you have to be correct in the world that you're giving,
Mm-hmm.
the whole, everything that you see.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I went to school to be interior designer. And by chance, the way things happen, when I got out of interior design school, I ended up working in New York City at one of the biggest prop houses in New York called Eclectic Encore. So that's how I got my start. I worked there, to be honest, not even knowing what a prop house was. I answered an ad in the Village Voice, asking for someone who loved movies. It also said someone who was knowledgeable of period furnishings, different things like that. And I answered the ad, went to Eclectic, found out what it was all about, that it was a prop rental house for set decorators and art directors for movies and television and music videos. And I worked there for four to 5 years, I think, before I ended up, saying, wow, this is like something I would love to do. I would love to be a set decorator. And that's how I pursued my career from there. But like I said, people take different routes to get to where I'm at.
Okay.
Some people, like I said, go to art school, and then they come out of art school or film school, and then they PA in the art department. And then that's how they make their steps, or they become a, production assistant somehow.
Gotcha. That's so cool. So you started in a prop house, and then that's how you found your way in this industry.
Oh yeah.
That's
I met a lot of
cool.
people. I met a lot of like the decorators, and I just found it really, fascinating, if that's a silly word, but and it just really interests me. And I was like, well, this is something that I could do. Like, this is something that I would love to do. It's similar to interior design. I'm not designing or decorating for, say, someone's home or business, but I'm decorating for this, character.
So, okay, so let's delineate then. Like, somebody who may be an interior decorator who's listening to this, and they say, well, maybe I can do this. What are some things that they should know about this that differ from just regular interior design?
Well, what they should know that differs in our world is that an interior decorator has, I think, a luxury of time. They have time to plan and show different fabrics or pick out, furniture and stuff like that. And as you know, working in film and television, we have no time whatsoever. I mean, we have a couple of days to throw something. I don't want to say throw something together, because that sounds careless, but we have literally days to put sets together to make them look and feel the way that, the director and the production designer wants them to look. We're always running around. And the other thing would be money. I think budgets are totally different. Time frame is totally different. And the other thing is that you're not decorating something that has to be permanent. So, it might be to their advantage, an interior designer's advantage, to try to do a crossover. I'm not,
But then,
if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. It does make sense. So it's a matter of, like, time for sure is definitely not a luxury you have. But
yes,
then
we
also,
definitely don't have time.
No. Yeah, we have a nice set. We have to have it built in 2 days. What? So
Yes.
from the bottom up. So
or we're adding a new character, and guess what? We're shooting, or the actor is sick, unfortunately, and what can we throw together tonight to shoot tomorrow morning? So it's
at 8 a.m.
all those things,
and it's 6 p.m.
Yeah. So we always have to be on our toes, and we have to be ready, and you just have to always just have an arsenal of goods, I think, in your warehouse to just for
Mm-hmm.
these kind of emergencies.
Sure. And then you also try your best to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, D, E, and F, because you never know which one is going to go, which way it's going to go.
Yep.
So,
And no matter how many times you say to the producer that, oh, I don't think this could happen. I don't know how we're going to do it. Guess what? We
you
end
got to
up doing
figure it out. Yeah. And
Yep.
you always make it work.
We
Always.
always do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So we know you won a fabulous Emmy and guys, she's won it for a show on Cinemax called The Nick. I do want to talk about The Nick because we've talked about it already and you said some great things about it. But I also want to know, what were some of your other favorite projects to work on and why, before we talk about The Nick?
Okay, so one of my favorite projects to work on was I Am Legend.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't the decorator. I can't take the credit for that, but I was the assistant decorator. I worked for George Satita was the decorator.
Oh,
and
okay.
He and his brother Jerry, who was the lead man, think I'm crazy when I say that was probably my favorite movie to work on. And they think I'm nuts. Like I said, I think it's because I didn't have to bring all the headaches home like George did or Jerry did, because I was just the assistant. But it was a really long show to work on, very long. I think we worked on it for close to a year.
Really?
And yeah, but for me, I just remember it because it was one of the biggest shows I've worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And the staff, our set decorating department was just one of the best ever. All of us, we got along so well, all the assistants. George was great to work for. The set dressing department was amazing, and it was huge. They were we had double shifts. People were working overnight to do some of the night scenes. And for me, it was just a lot of fun because of the friendships that I built on that show with all of the crew. And yeah. It just resonates. And I think it was a great movie. Will Smith, it was just great. And he was great.
He was, oh, good. Oh, I love it when you have great stories about that. So he was really nice.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I saw that movie, it's been, of course, a few years ago. I saw it and I was very intrigued by the storyline of that film. And it kept me on the edge of my seat till the end. Of course, I always want a happy ending, but but it was that was definitely a great film. What else have you worked on?
It was.
That's cool that you love.
So, a lot of these are probably goofy that I'm going to say, but I really loved working on the Smurfs.
Oh,
because that was really cute, and it was like a kids movie, and it was a lot of fun, interacting and doing sets for the little characters that you never saw because everything was CGI. So that was fun. I really loved working on, other than the Nick, like I told you, I loved working on a pilot that we did for Marty Scorsese.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very cool.
So what else? I loved working on The Irishman recently. That was a really big film.
So what? Yeah, because it was on Netflix. What was that like, working on The Irishman?
It was hard. It was a really big film. We had so many sets. We had a lot of people in our set deck department, but it was, as hard as it was, it just seemed like everything worked out seamlessly. And,
nice.
We covered from 1950s all the way to 2017 or something like that. So,
whoa.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Doing all of that, and the sets we had, I thought were really beautiful. And, working with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and Ray Romano and Harvey Keitel and, again, Marty, it was just, it was something that I'll never forget. So that was a great experience.
So take us there then. What does the research look like, or how do you do you guys build storyboards for something like that? Because you covered centuries I mean, decades, I'm sorry, decades of
Decades.
looks and feels. So what does that process look like to make sure that every decade is accurate?
Well, the art department started a long time before we did, and so did our production designer. And the art department, our researcher Nara had an amazing. I mean, we had a researcher on that put books together of houses of, because we were like in Philadelphia. It's like what the homes look like, and what nightclubs look like, and what the storefronts look like. So the art department's incredible in the way where they just put together so much information for us. I mean, we do some research on our own, but a lot of the research was done before we even got in.
Gotcha.
And the movie is based on a book. So the other thing we had was some research from the granddaughter of who the story is about, who brought in photos of like her grandfather's home and his office. And so we used a lot of that to kind of like riff off of. So yeah, it was just a really incredible experience.
Very cool. So there were books that were created of like different, of course you had the photos from him, then you and then books of like different looks. So houses, you said, and I'm sure
and then we put like look boards together.
Okay.
But everything, I mean, now everything goes on like a Dropbox.
Yeah.
So if you need something, it's just like, oh, you type it in and there it is. And it's just like right there for you.
Gotcha. So it's highly digital, but if somebody were just wanting to know how it would be done, maybe the old school way, you create books and looks for different things. And then the production designer would go through and say, oh, I like this one, or I like that one, or let's go with this one. And then that's kind of how the process goes. Yeah.
And a lot of the time the production designer already knows, like he knows in his head exactly, like he reads the script and he can see, like you and I can, but he sees something, how he visualizes it.
Right.
And he, the designer who I worked with, Bob Shaw, he's worked with Marty before. So he knows what Marty likes most of the time, or I should say all of the time. But so Bob already has like a vision in his head. So it's like, it's my job to kind of interpret that and bring it to him and say, is this what you were thinking? Or, we have a lot of like late night meetings together, and then we'll say, how's this or how's this? And we'd like pick out things together because he's really involved.
I love it. So I think we've held it off long enough. So you won an Emmy for The Nick, starring Clive Owen, which is a show that is, I think they wrapped out it's done, isn't it? Or.
Oh yeah, it's done. Yeah. We had 2 seasons.
Yeah.
We thought at one point that we would come back for like a 3rd and 4th season, but that never happened, unfortunately. But it was it was a great show. Like I said, I think you could see it now on like HBO Go. I think they still show it. But it takes place in the turn of the century New York City.
Okay.
And about a doctor, like I told you before, who is, he's like way before his time. He's like a genius. He's a medical genius. But his downfall is that he's addicted to cocaine, he's addicted to heroin, he's addicted to opium. He has every kind of addiction you could possibly think of. So that brings a lot of the story, makes it very interesting.
Yeah. And I want to ask this, but like, when you get, because you guys, set decorators have to get to know the characters as well. For sure. Like, you guys have to read the script. You guys have to get into the story, because ultimately you have to create that world. And has there ever been a character that you've done that you can think of that just made you sad, or somebody who just made you really happy, or have you been that entrenched in a story before that you've worked on?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Or there might be characters where you kind of relate them to people that you know, or people that you've known, like, oh, this person reminds me of my aunt, or, and I think it kind of helps because it's easier for you to shop and like look for things or, build this character around certain things.
That's
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So what do you think it takes to be successful in film and TV? Like what do we have to do? I know there's not one thing, but what are things that you have done that have helped you to be successful?
So are you saying like behind the camera? So for people who work
Yes.
like us?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, because I wouldn't know what it takes to be successful as an actress, but
Neither would I.
so I think to be successful in our industry, I think it's very wise to try to learn every single department. Try to learn from the bottom and know like what the people that you're working with, who you are working with, what they do every day.
Okay.
So I think a successful decorator or a successful even director, if you know what every single person's job is, and if maybe you've worked in some of those jobs, I think it's easier for you to be a team player because we all work together every single day. The decorator can't work without the prop person or the production designer, and also the director of photography. I mean, we all work together. We all work hand in hand. The costume designer, we're always talking to the costume designer because, we don't want to clash with, I don't want to put like orange on a sofa if the character that they're dressing that day is going to be dressed in orange. Or, do you know what I'm saying? Like
that's something to think about.
Yeah, there's always dialogue between all of us. And I think to make you the best that you could be, you should really learn what everyone does and try to work at that job. Right now, it's really, really busy in New York City. Well, it was before COVID hit, because of all the tax incentives and everything. And it's really different now because it's so busy that someone who was a set dresser, maybe they were only set dressing for a month or so, are being promoted to be a set decorator. And I don't think they should take that lightly. Not saying that they do, but I think to be the best at your game, you should, work your way up. Don't try to get there too fast. Do you know?
I do.
I
do.
I think a set decorator should, learn to be a set dresser, learn to be a shopper, and learn to be an assistant. Learn all of those things because it'll only make you better. Don't always want, people that want to rush. I'm not, I don't know about that.
I agree because I think it gives you perspective. Like you'll know what it takes. Like I think it helps you to set the expectation for somebody else. Like if you become a decorator and you've never been a shopper, you don't know what it's like to have to deal with traffic, and you don't know what it's like to have to go around a prop shop and how long that can possibly take. You don't know how long, like there are so many things you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think it also will help to give you a greater deal of empathy for the people that you work with.
Yes. And I think, I think success comes from most people you don't get successful or you don't become great at what you do or whatever on your own. Like I said, I always think it's a team effort. And if I didn't have my assistants, if I didn't have my buyers, if I didn't have, my PAs in my office, if I didn't have my set dressers, I mean, I wouldn't be able to produce what I want to produce. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think if I want to work with the people I work with side by side. I don't want to seem like I'm up here and they're down here. So I just think if like me, I started out as a set dresser, that if you work all those different levels, you also get more, like you said, you have empathy, but you also get more respect, I think, from the people that you work with. And again, like I said, I want to work side by side with somebody. I want to be your friend when I work with you. And I think I do get a lot more respect that way.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so great. And I think that's a great valuable lesson for everybody to learn, that it does, and it takes years to get to where you are.
Yeah.
It took some time.
It took me years.
Oh, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
And it takes time, because it's also about making sure you're ready to go to that next level. If you do it prematurely, it can kind of cause some issues, but I think it's also about making sure that you're ready for that next level. Because the expectations change when you go from one level to another. So, so I wanted to ask you this question too. Who inspires you? Where does your inspiration come from?
I think as you age or as you get older, your inspiration comes from different places.
Sure.
So I think when I was younger, I got a lot of inspiration from my family, my sisters, my mother, my father. My sisters were very artistic, and I never thought that I was as artistic as them. But they were artistic in a different way. They're very good drawers and painters and things like that. And my mother and father were always very hard workers. So I took inspiration from them to work hard for what I wanted to do in life. And as I'm getting older, I think I have more inspiration that I have children. I want to be my best for them so that I could be a good role model. So I think that's where I get my inspiration from.
That's great. Now, do any of your kids want to be in the business?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
No.
Give them time. But that's great that, they're allowed to have their own goals and desires and ambitions. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And what makes you love this line of work? What is it that makes you get up every day to go to work?
Well, I really do love my job. And I think what makes me get up every day is that every day is something new. It's always different. It's not like you're, going to the same desk and sitting there and doing the same thing on a day-to-day basis. I mean, every day we're especially a decorator, you're dressing a set, you're shopping a set, you're, creating a different world for somebody. I like the pace of it all, even though I said time is never on your side. I kind of like that. I like that we have to rush and do things quickly. I love all the people that we work with. We work with so many people, on different jobs, and you just meet so many different people. I don't know. I think I have one of the best jobs in the world, to be honest. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. That's so great. And I think I'm excited about this particular show because I'm hoping that we can introduce some folks to cool things that you can do. There's more than that you can do in this industry than just be the actor, the director, the producer, all of the things that you hear out front. There's a bunch of people who do amazing things in this industry. It takes so many people to make the entertainment that we see happen. And I want us to start putting faces to some of those titles and to some of those jobs, and you can make a lovely living and and never have your face in front of a camera. So I just thank you so much for sharing your time with us today, Regina. It means a lot.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for introducing people to this wonderful world that you are in.
Well, I hope I was helpful or somewhat helpful.
You were more than I think you realize. So I hope you know that. But before we end everything, I always do this at the end of the show. It's called the Pivot Questionnaire that James Lipton used to do on his show Inside the Actor Studio. I think it's a great way to get to know people. So do you mind indulging me in this?
Let's go for it. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right. All right. What is your favorite word?
Am I allowed to curse on this?
Yeah. Everybody else has.
Okay. All right. Don't think bad of me. But most people would say my favorite word is fuck.
Okay.
Because you could use it, like, you know, you could use it when you're mad. I use it when I'm happy. You know, you can use it when you're excited. You can say like fuck, you know, or like fuck when you're pissed. It's just, it's so versatile. So
It is. It is.
fuck
Agreed.
is probably my favorite word.
That's hilarious.
I think I lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can.
There you go.
You're
My
back.
my headphone kind
Popped out.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
What is your least favorite word?
Sure.
Really?
Sure.
Oh no, why?
Because I just feel like when someone answers you with sure, it doesn't mean sure at all. It just means like sure, whatever.
Okay. Okay.
I know I hate that word sure.
My God. Okay. I won't.
Or no, I hate no too, but sure I hate the worst.
I get it. Okay. I won't say that to you anymore. If I have,
I
I
don't think
apologize.
you ever have. No.
Okay.
I don't think you ever have.
We kind of touched on this already, but what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh, it's really, it could be anything. Creatively, it could be a book I've read. It could be a painting. It could be, I don't know, a color. It could be a piece of furniture. I mean, creatively, it really could be anything, a piece of fabric. Spiritually, I'm not sure. I really love, I love religious paintings and things like that. And I love religious art. And I think when I travel, especially like when we travel to Italy and stuff like that, I think spiritually that really, that really gets to me. What was the other one?
Emotionally.
Emotionally. I don't know. My husband. I don't know. That's hard.
I'm not
Emotionally. I don't know.
What turns you off?
Dishonesty.
It's a lot of that.
I'm a very forward person. And sometimes I say things without thinking, but I don't regret saying them because it's actually what's on my mind. So I think what turns me off the most about anything in this world is dishonesty. As if it's a person, if it's, I don't know, a thing, a law, something that happens in the news. I mean, dishonesty.
It seems like that's running rampant these days.
Yeah.
We've already covered it, but what's your favorite curse word?
That's it. Fuck. Or asshole. Or you put them together, but.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, you asked.
You're right.
I'm honest.
You are. Oh yeah, she is, guys. She really is. What sound or noise do you love?
I love thunder and I love rain. The noise of rain on your windows. I also love the sound of a horse, like a horse's hooves, like when the shoes hit the pavement. I love that.
That's cool. And what sound or noise do you hate?
This sounds rude. When people eat with their mouth open.
That's a condition, you know.
It is. I think I suffer from it.
You're not the only person that says that, and I've brought that to light. It's like that. You got to get help. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I never knew it was a condition. My whole life, I never knew that. Now I know.
Uh, that's hilarious. Um, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Um, hmm. I always want to be a furniture designer, but I think
Hmm.
the other profession I'd like to attempt one day is starting my own fashion line, but for children.
Ooh. Oh,
For
that's
children,
cool.
not for adults. I always wanted to do that from forever.
That is so cool. Like, would it be, it wouldn't be like high fashion. It'd just be like, what would it be? Or would it be high fashion for children?
No, it wouldn't be high fashion. I think it would
Mm-hmm.
be more like basics, like more of things that, and it would be more like a layette and baby line more
Oh,
so
nice.
than older children. I think it would be like soft cottons and things that babies need, like onesies and blankets and bibs, just really soft, good quality uh, items.
That's so
One
great.
day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you believe heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gate?
Um, I might get emotional on this one, but
It's okay.
so if it did exist, I would love him to say, "Your dad is here waiting for you." I just lost my dad in March, so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would want him to say.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. I understand that. Regina, this has been wonderful. I thank you so much for sharing your time, your talent, and the gift that you are with us.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I believe you've opened up a whole new world for somebody out there who
I
may
hope
not have
so.
known that this was even a possibility. You've been a joy to have on here and to chat with in the last few weeks. But hopefully, this will not be the last time because I would love to have you back if you're ever interested in coming back on the show.
I would definitely be interested.
Absolutely. If folks wanted to reach out to you, Regina, where could they go? Where can you be found?
They could find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook.
Okay.
They could private message me or DM me, whatever you say. And I love helping people.
Hmm.
I have a lot of people that email me or write to me. And if this whole COVID thing ever goes away, I would love to have a coffee with someone if they're interested, and
Right.
talk to someone about our job, because it's a really great job to have. And if you're creative and it's something that you want to do and you have a passion for it, then I would love to help any way I can.
Love it. So Facebook, you can type in Regina Graves and you'll pop up.
Yes, I
Okay.
hope. I hope it's me, the Regina. Not, there
The
might be another
Regina
one out
Graves,
there.
friends. It's
Yeah.
the Regina Graves. And as always, guys, you can always come to our website, www.liberatedmedia.com, liberated-media.com, for more, to be able to watch this and other episodes of Interesting People. This has been another episode of Interesting People with the fabulous and wonderful Regina Graves. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. We appreciate you. We love you and want nothing but the best for you. And guys, always remember to be kind to each other, love one another, and don't take anybody for granted. Bye.
Thank you.